In this video, we would look at the third factor of production, which is capital. In economics, capital consists of anything that can enhance a person's power to perform economically useful work. These are man-made factors used in production, such as tools, technology, buildings, etc. Capital is not land because capital is produced by labor and land is not produced by labor. Capital is the material product of labor, not the labor itself. So, capital per se does not take risks and has no skills. And this last one creates great confusion. Capital is not money or stock certificates or bonds. Those things represent ownership of assets, which could be capital or could be land. Now we would look at the characteristics of capital. Capital is not a gift of nature. So it is not a primary or natural factor. It is made by man in capital goods in the industry. It is secondary as well as an artificial factor of production. Capital helps in increasing level of productivity and speed of production because we are using tools, technology, etc. So it is also known as a productive factor. Supply of capital depends upon capital formation process. Capital formation depends upon savings and investments. By accelerating capital formation, capital supply can be increased. But when we looked at land and labor, it was inelastic supply. So that's a point to note. Payment for the capital is known as interest. A firm borrows funds to finance an investment, which is the acquisition of the physical capital the firm will buy. Hence, the rate of interest is the price of capital which is determined by the intersection of investment and savings. The demand for capital is done by the entrepreneur for further investment. The entrepreneur chooses to invest in capital goods to increase productivity rather than choosing to produce more consumer goods. The payment for capital is interest. When more and more capital is employed, the productivity of capital goes on decreasing. So, because we use more and more tools to produce consumer goods, it doesn't mean it increases by the same way when we employ the first tool in place. So, when we increase the tools, the productivity actually decreases. So when more and more capital is employed, the productivity of capital goes on decreasing. So when the marginal productivity is lower than the interest rate, it would not be feasible to invest more on capital. Hence, more capital would be demanded if the rate of interest goes down. It is inversely related with the rate of interest. Likewise, supply of capital is the savings, and savings would increase with the rising rate of interest. Movement of capital from one place to another is easily possible, unlike land or labor. As a factor of production, capital has a derived demand to produce finished goods which have a direct demand. Demand for raw cotton is derived from the demand for cotton cloth. So if the cotton cloth is demanded more in the market, so the raw material of cotton would also the demand would also increase. And number 7 would be the social costs. Resources have alternative uses. Either they can be put to the production of capital goods or consumer goods. When resources are used for producing capital goods, it means society has sacrificed enjoying consumer goods. This is also known as social cost. As we go on using capital, the value of capital goes on depreciating. When machines are used continuously for some time, these depreciate and their value also falls. And that is why capital is also destructible. All capital goods are destructible and are not permanent. Because of the continuous use, machines and tools become useless with the passage of time. And the last one would be capital is stored up labor. By putting in his labor, man earns wealth. A part of this wealth is spent on consumption goods and the rest of it is saved. When saving is invested, it becomes capital. In other words, capital is the result of accumulation of savings of a man. Therefore, capital is stored up labor. In the next video, we would look at the types of capital and what are the difference between those.